Let's talk about how to pass the IHG first round interview. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Ready English here with another video to help you get hired. Today we're going to be talking about the global hotel chain IHG Hotels and Resorts and how you can pass their first round interview. As ever, if you want the best help to pass your first round interview for IHG, make sure you check out our Pass the Interview pack. We've broken down this video into 3 parts. We're going to talk about the recruitment process, most common questions you can expect based upon our research from publicly available sources from candidates who've taken the interview, and other questions that we came across which we thought would be interesting to you. So let's start off by talking about what you can expect from IHG's recruitment process. Candidates report the process lasting around 2 months. They applied online and were then invited for an interview. There were general behavioural questions and situational judgment questions. Candidates reported that it was a panel interview with 3 people, and afterwards they were invited to another interview before hearing about whether they got the job or not. We didn't see any references to an assessment centre. So let's talk about the 4 most common questions that you could expect in IHG's first round interview. Question number 1, why should we hire you? For an in-depth answer and explanation on how to answer this question, which is basically why this job, make sure you click the card up above. So when a company says, why should we hire you? Essentially what they're saying is, do you understand what the job is? Do you have the skills and experiences that are required? Make sure that you have the job description to hand. This is so important. When people answer this question, what I generally tend to find is they give this really general and vague answer about how they're amazing and they can do the job, but they haven't really explained to me what they're going to be doing, and they haven't explained the specific skills that they have which are relevant to the job and what is required. If you're struggling to find a good job description, you can use something like prospects.ac.uk, which is a really fabulous British government website, but essentially your answer is going to be split into 2 parts. Number 1, working in X role, I would be expected to, and then list out the things that you would need to do. Next, you would turn around and say, I feel like I'm a really good fit for this role because I have these skills, and you could list 2, 3, 4, 5 skills, and just make sure for each of the skills that you're saying, for example, you say, I've got great client-facing skills because all my time through university, I've always been a member of society. I've got great client-facing skills because all my time at university, I have been a member of a society. And what that's meant is that I've had to manage and organise people, talk to sponsors, organise events, and talk to lots of different types of people in different scenarios and contexts. So I've learned to be really good at getting on with people and getting the best out of them. So you'll notice that when I provide the skill, I'm also providing an experience to really demonstrate that I know that skill. Question number 2, what are your strengths? Now, again, referring back to the job description, you're going to want to pick out 2 or 3 of the skills that are important for this role and say that these are your strengths. So the 3 skills you could use in this context could be great client-facing skills. I am really analytical. I'm really hardworking. So in terms of my client-facing skills, I feel I've really honed and developed these, and then you can refer to an example. Now, this could be from work experience, it could be from extracurricular activities, it could be from volunteering, but you always want to think about how am I really ticking the box on a job description where someone says, well, they've got all the skills, they've got some of the experiences, they understand what's required in the job. This person seems a great match for the job. Now, I'd say probably maximum you're looking for are 5 strengths, and this really depends on how long you've got to answer the question. But face-to-face or telephone interviews tend to be a little bit friendlier than video interviews in the sense that you're not staring at a ticking clock. Question number 3, what are your weaknesses? Now, a lot of people really struggle with this question when they're talking about what are your weaknesses, because they think, well, I can't reveal anything bad about myself because I don't want people to think badly of me. And the truth is, we've all got weaknesses. We've all got things that we need to work on. We've all got lessons that need to be learned. And a lot of those lessons I learned on the job as we're going through things. So the first thing that you want to think about is, obviously, you're going to discount any weakness which is clearly something that would make you not hireable for the job. Like, I'm constantly late, I've got a terrible drinking problem, I really struggle with my anger. But that's just common sense. The second thing I would suggest or recommend is not to use a weakness that everybody else uses unless it's genuinely true. I work too hard, I try too much, I struggle to say no, I have a poor work-life balance. If that's genuinely true, then that's absolutely fine. But if it's not, then you might want to find that honesty is the best policy. Just lean into something that you know is an area in your life that you're trying to work on. Something that I often give for myself is my general organizational skills. So one thing that I found is, particularly as I have grown a business, is I have to be really hot on organization. Now, we're lucky enough to have a fantastic team and I have people that help me to do that. But a way that I really overcame that is that I have calendars, I have systems. I make sure that I prepare the night before for the next day and what that's going to involve. And also that I set aside time and I make sure that I can really focus on the job that is at hand. So I try to eliminate distractions. And all of those things have helped me to get better at organization. I'm poorly organized, and this has a direct domino effect on the other people that are on my team and that work with me. So just think about a weakness as a lesson to be learned and demonstrating what you've learned from that lesson. Question number 4, what experience do you have for this role? Now, this is the question where a lot of people might panic and think, well, I haven't specifically been a night manager at a hotel. I haven't been a business graduate. I haven't been a finance analyst, so I don't actually have any experience for this role. Now, the truth is most jobs have the same skills. You know, we need to be able to talk to people. We need to be able to work in a team. We need to be able to lead ourselves and others. We need some element of analytical and problem skills. We need some business and commercial acumen. These are what we call transferable skills. Now, years ago when I first started coaching, I used to ask people a question. I'd say, do you think that a cashier at McDonald's could work as an auditor at Deloitte? And a lot of times people are like, well, no, how is that relevant? And I say, well, a cashier has got great analytical skills, numerical skills. They're really good at working with clients. They're good at working under pressure. They need to be able to work as part of a team. They need to be really studious and organized in terms of the other things that they've got in their life. They've got to have good time management skills because you've got such a high volume of customers coming through. Now, you'll notice what I did was basically just choose skills which are relevant for both jobs and then give an example about where you have demonstrated that skill in the job that you currently have or have previously had. And the same could be said for your extracurricular activities, maybe some volunteering that you did or for the studies that you were involved in. But we all have transferable skills. We all have an example where we can demonstrate that we've had to work with people, we've had to talk to them, to lead them, we've had to demonstrate some element of business and commercial awareness. So you do have the experience, it just might be in a different format. So here are 6 other questions that we came across which we found interesting and just wanted to highlight to you in a rapid fire round. What do you know about IHG? If you want an in-depth answer to this question, make sure you click the card up above, which also has a free worksheet and a longer explanation. Basically, pick out 5 fast facts about the company and make sure that they're unique, relevant and specific to IHG. If you don't want to do that yourself, then you can always buy our Pass the Interview pack where we've done the work for you and also provided sources for more facts. Question number 2, describe a time you worked in a team. So this is a behavioural or competency-based question. You're going to want to use STAR, which is situation, task, action, result. Where were you? What were you doing? What did you do? And what was the result that you achieved? And you want to put the emphasis of your answer on the actions that you took. What were the specific things that you did which made you good at teamwork? If you don't know what those are, just pop good teamwork skills into Google. Question number 3, how do you best deal with conflict? Now, hotels are a good environment for conflict where people have expectations and demands, and you might find that you are in conflict with other people. The thing that I've always found helpful in conflict is, number 1, not to react, That is to try and listen to why that other person is upset, to understand where they're coming from. A lot of times I will just voice that back to them to make sure that I've really understood what it is that they're saying, and then I will let them know what I'm going to do to solve the problem, communicate with them as I'm solving it, and then give them a result or next steps that they need to take. I tend to find most conflicts are pretty easily resolved. You really just listen to what that person has to say and communicate with them, because a lot of time conflict comes from frustration. Question number 4, what is your management style? Now, if you've never had any management experience, if you've got no experience of leading other people, then you might just think, well, what has been your style of leading yourself? This is often an example that I use about leadership when someone says, well, I've never led anyone in my life. And I think, well, you've led yourself. You've had to achieve goals, get results. You know, anybody has to demonstrate some element of leadership. And a lot of time that's down to discipline, organization, clear direction, working hard, and basically being one step ahead of everybody else and knowing where the ship is going to. Question number 5, why did you choose this position? Very similar to why this job. Question number 6, tell me about yourself. For an in-depth answer and explanation of how to answer this question, make sure you click the link up above. A good personal introduction is a really great place to start, particularly if you've never done an interview, you feel quite nervous about it, where you talk about what you're doing now, what you've done in the past, 3 to 5 years, what you'd like to do in the future, work experience, extracurricular skills and activities, and then finally your skills, interests and hobbies, and trying to condense that down into 2 minutes. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, drop us a like, a comment down below, let us know how your interview went. If there are other videos you'd like us to make or how we could make these videos better, then also let us know in the comments. I do try and read and reply to them all, or at least a member of our team does. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I wish you the best of luck. See you later.